What's up, everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV After Dark podcast for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or short film Powers slash Ranger. I'm your host, Dom. With me, my co-host, Mike, over here. John. And Cleo and Nick.
Keep waving.
Oh, you got the white Falcon Zord over there.
Yep.
I like it.
Never stop waving.
I wish I knew where,
Why is Mike waving like a dead fish?
I'm limp wristing this. I can keep this up all night.
No comment on the ability to limp wrist all night.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Doesn't it?
It really does.
Terrible things will happen when we film After Dark. So
After Dark, ladies.
yes.
Enjoy.
So
only the ladies, the men can't enjoy.
so apparently this film
face.
just kind of snuck up on the internet. No one knew it was coming, and it just showed up overnight and took the internet by storm.
Yeah.
So before we start discussing the film or whatever, I want to go into our background on the Power Rangers. So the original...
I grew up in the 90s.
Okay, so the original Power Rangers, we lost John temporarily, but the original Power Rangers, how much of the original series did you guys watch?
Essentially
All
all
of
of it, yeah.
The original series, like the first 2 seasons, every episode probably a few times over.
Right.
Yeah.
I specifically remember the first season went up, and then they ran out of footage, and they kind of panicked, and they're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? They needed more. So that's season 2 is when they brought in Lord Zed. And they started splicing. It wasn't Zyranger. It was I don't remember the name of the Japanese footage that was connected with it. And they brought in Lord Zed, and I will never forget the first time seeing Lord Zed. That was like a villain right there. That I was just like in shock how like pure evil he was. He was the first truly evil villain that I think I've ever experienced.
He's got chrome all over his armor and a brain sticking out of the top of his head, which, mind you, is a pretty, gaping flaw, but I was 5. I was 7 at the time, and he was scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, what we had to compare him to was Rita, who was like melodrama the villain.
Yeah, Rita was pretty laughable.
She was like totally over the top. Definitely was melodrama.
Yeah, she was over the top laughable, but Lord Zed was just cruel. And then I know that there was like this whole thing where it like sparked this big debate among like, oh my god, he's too evil and like he's scaring children, and then they had to like dull him down, and like that's when they started the whole Rita Repulsa Lord Zed or in love angle, and like,
oh god, I remember that.
Yeah, that was so gross.
Oh right.
And it's like, what happened to you, Lord Zed? You're
that I don't remember.
Yeah, you're a weakling now, so.
Sure.
I mean, apparently the Power Rangers have had history, of being too dark already, when they were on the air, and then this short film comes out. So, John, what was your first reaction to seeing this film?
It was weird because I saw it like posted everywhere on Facebook. Like every website was picking it up and posting it, and I was like, I didn't watch it. I was just like, oh, I don't know. I was thinking like I don't know what to think of this, and then I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, all right, fine, I'll give it a shot. And like as soon as I turned it on, I was like completely taken aback because I was like, whoa! There's cussing, there's war, there's guns, there's murder. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? But by the end, I was like totally jacked for it. I was like, this is awesome. Like this is really fucking cool. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, but it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's meant to go anywhere either.
Right. I mean, Mike posted it on
all the time.
Yeah.
So many different things.
Yeah. I mean, Mike posted it on my Facebook. That was the first time I saw it. I watched it there. I'm one of those people where like I like everything how it was, and I don't like it to change, and like I don't do very well with change. So my first reaction was, that's not the Pink Ranger's helmet. I was like, I don't even want to watch this and then I'm like, that's the Megazord?
Come on, guys.
I'm like, that's the Megazord. But then as it was going on, like I I kind of lost all touch with what it was, and I was just so focused on what it is, and by the end of it, I was just like, okay, I want this.
Yeah, I need this in my life, please.
And they presented Power Rangers in a way I never thought of it before. Because if you try to explain it to someone who didn't watch it when they were a kid, it's like, yeah, it's kids fighting an intergalactic war, literally. And then to see it like an actual intergalactic war, I was like, wow, yeah, okay.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick, you grew up with Power Rangers, right?
Yeah, no. I remember my coworker showed it to me on break, and like it just started that first scene. I was like, wait, what? And then like throughout the entire thing, I just felt incredibly uncomfortable because it like Tom, you nostalgia glasses.
Yeah.
So it was like this isn't what I grew up with.
This isn't right.
It's cool. I thought it was cool. It was they did really well. I'm assuming the budget wasn't exactly the highest. They did incredibly well with what they were given. But I just felt off. I mean, the ending was cool. I didn't see that coming.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we had the twist ending with Rita Repulsa as Kimberly the whole time, and as soon as when they reel back and they show Tommy, right, and Tommy's like, so who are you? No, yeah. Kimberly died. As soon as he said that, I go, oh, it's Rita. But I mean, up until that point,
yeah, no, I was like,
no,
oh, it's gotta be.
Yeah, but up until that point, I didn't have any clue. So
and like she just no problem shot Dawson's Creek. Who was he playing? He was playing Rocky.
Oh no, this was Rocky. That's right. God,
just no problem shot Rocky in the head, and I was like,
that doesn't seem
is Rita like a bad bitch now? Is she like serious?
Real bad bitch.
A bit, yeah.
Serious.
Yeah. Were all the characters clear to you guys in the film here? Did they do a good job with that?
Rocky was the only one I needed to look up.
Mm-hmm. Same here. He was the only one who was completely unclear.
She said it was him. She said his name, though.
She did.
Yeah, she did.
She did, but I didn't catch it.
It was only one time, and it was in the first minute of the video.
The first 50 seconds of their interaction.
Because I missed it. I was like, wait, who?
Well, here's another one you guys may have missed. Did you guys catch Bulk and Skull?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
There's countless people that I was like, did you guys see Bulk and Skull in them? They're like, what?
Another scene that made me uncomfortable was that one where it's just like, oh shit, and then Jason just gets shot.
I
was like, what the fuck? Wait,
like
no, what?
It was like a Tarantino style execution.
Yeah, it was done. That's it. Yeah. He's dead now. Cool.
That was insane.
It was unbelievable. Like, I mean, this obviously it's a very dark, gritty version of Power Rangers. It's not intended for kids whatsoever. And the original cast actually weighed in on it. Like, almost all of the original cast. With the exception of the girl who played Trini. Because she passed away. She died, I think, back in 92 or something. It was a car accident. It was maybe not 92, but it was somewhere around there.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
I hope it wasn't 92.
It was right before 9/11.
Yeah, yes, you're right. So it was late 90s, early 2000s. David Yost, actually, who played Billy, the first Blue Ranger, he's very active on social media. He's actually the only one who has not commented whatsoever.
Oh,
really?
Interesting.
He's just completely ignored the fact that it exists. He's still been posting since then. He has not mentioned it once.
Given as his character had like 2 seconds of either vocals or screen time, I would.
He didn't have any voice. Billy didn't. He did.
Like, but it was like recordings.
His character was in videos. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we had Walter Jones, who played the first Black Ranger, said that it was a very entertaining video, but he's not going to post it because he still has kids that follow him. So it's completely respectable. We had Austin St. John, who played the first Red Ranger, actually gave no personal opinions whatsoever on it, but he critiqued it from like a film critic standpoint. Said it was very well done, it was easy to understand, he was able to follow along, with everything like that, and it was good in that regard. But as for his personal opinion and whether or not it should be made, he wasn't going to offer that out there. So he took more a business approach.
Like whether it should have been made in the first place?
Yeah, or if it should be rebooted into an actual film franchise.
Yeah, like a feature length.
Right. Amy Jo Johnson, who played the original Pink Ranger, she said it was pretty amazing. It's definitely not for kids. It was satisfying, and she loved how the girl Katie rocked Kimberly.
That's what drew me. That's what drew me to watch it in the first place. Like Power Rangers was enough, but Katie Sackhoff, I was like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just watching. I'm like, wait a minute, that's I know her. That's
Battlestar Galactica.
Among other things, yep.
Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. Jason David Frank, who played the original Green/White Ranger, was actually one of the first to comment on it. He posted an actual video on his Facebook, about a 2.5 minute of him just ranting about it.
Like badly?
He seemed very torn himself, but what it came down to is he said about a year ago he was approached to be in it, and he turned it down. He is a PG-13 kind of guy. He didn't like the drugs. He didn't like the language. And he feels the franchise is still very connected to children. And he only wants to be in Saban-approved Power Ranger things with that character.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's...
But the thing... I mean... I forgot what I was going to say. No, wait. PG-13 is... You can have drugs and cursing in PG-13.
Yeah, but that wasn't PG-13.
No, I know it wasn't PG-13.
And/or language.
I know.
Yeah.
No, I see what you mean.
You get away with more of it nowadays in PG-13 than you used to.
And
but.
he's like still super ingrained with his fans and in like the culture of the show. So I'm honestly not surprised at that.
Yeah, however, we did see the White Ranger was in the superhero beatdown, and he fought Scorpion, and that was a little graphic. You know, there's some blood and stuff in that, and you know, that was Saban approved. And there's another one coming out, Green Ranger versus Ryu, which is once again Saban approved. So
I also think that's the Saban can control that sort of thing. With a fan-made movie, there's no control on the original creator's part.
Right.
And it can get made, and it can just get made.
Yeah.
Under the radar, like none of us knew. No fan knew.
It's very true. Johnny Young Bosch, who played the second Black Ranger, said he loved it. He was happy that Adam was killed off, and he wants to be contacted if there's ever a sequel. So
he was happy that Adam got killed.
Apparently.
Okay.
I was like, no, everyone, I was like, no, don't die. Ah, fuck.
He was cool too.
Yeah, Steve Cardenas, who was the second Red Ranger, aka Rocky, said he kind of liked it, but he would never betray his people. And Karen Ashley, who played the second Yellow Ranger, she said she liked it. She hates that Aisha was absent when Rocky and Adam were both in it, but she liked it for what it was and took Saban completely out of the equation. So,
yeah. Which, I mean, I think that's how you have to look at a fan, movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to look at it like in the universe, but taken slightly out because it's not canon and it probably never will be.
Just the way I think of them, it's just like alternate reality. Just
like it's a fan fiction. Basically.
ARAU, like same characters, the same world, but it as if like string theory.
Yeah.
Like a different universe where this happened instead of this, and then.
Yeah. Obviously, this is not officially licensed by Hayam Saban, and he actually has been pretty furious about this, actively getting it taken down from Vimeo and YouTube and everywhere else that it's possibly been put up. And it just recently came back to YouTube with the disclaimer in front of it saying that it is in fact not affiliated with Saban in any way, shape, or form. This is a fan take on it. It is non-profit. He's literally not making $1 off of it. It's not monetized on YouTube or any other forms or whatever. The title is literally in giant letters, unlicensed and violent. Yes.
Yeah. What the title says. Before it even says Power Rangers.
And the director, Joseph Kahn, actually commented. He had a whole AMA on Reddit. He's been talking on his Twitter. He said, I just wanted to make Power Rangers good for once. It's kind of a silly franchise. It was an experiment in tone. It was a challenge. I took the silliest property I could think of and tried to see if I could make it serious enough. So what do you guys think? Did he accomplish this? Did he take this really silly show and make it like something that you would like to see?
Yeah. Well, it's not that I wouldn't like to see Power Rangers, the silly one, but I mean.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this though. Have you gone back and watched the original Power Rangers recently at all?
It's painful.
It's
the movie. No, I've watched
not the movie. The original TV show.
The movie's a classic. The movie will always be
show.
good.
No, I've not watched the original TV show, but I have gone back and watched the
even
movie.
though it's cheesy.
Within the last 2 years, I have gone back and watched the full first season alongside the Japanese counterpart of it, and I watched the Japanese one with subtitles, and I actually really like the Japanese one. The story is much darker.
The Super Sentai is like the way they did it. The way they do it in Japan, it's not geared towards children.
Correct.
So the stories themselves can be a lot grittier and have a lot more. I don't want to say a lot more depth, but I'm gonna say a lot more depth. And it's. Have you guys ever seen Kamen Rider?
I have not.
Heard of?
I've heard
it's kind of like the same thing, the same.
Oh,
vein.
yes, yeah.
Kind of like the same vein of not necessarily teenagers, but humans gaining like superpowers through suits, and they fight monsters or aliens or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's a lot like Power Rangers, but more like the Super Sentai Rangers, where it's got a lot more depth of character and a lot more like grit, and it tackles more. Like, I don't want to say pressing issues, but
more adult things.
They can cover a lot. Yeah, they can cover a lot more adult themes.
I mean, the Japanese, the Super Sentai. I watched that, and what I was doing, I was watching like the American version, and then I would go and watch the same episode in the Japanese, and they followed pretty closely. Like it was almost, this villain was on this week, and this villain's on this one. It almost followed identically. There was a couple that were out of order sequences and stuff like that. But the Japanese one, it seemed very continual. Like it would end in a cliffhanger, the way a TV show nowadays, American TV would end. Whereas the Power Rangers, it was Monster of the Week. It was closed off. It was finished. It was complete. It went on to the next one, and they were very loosely tied together. Mm-hmm. But the Japanese one was legit like a continuous. This whole show goes together at once.
It was the era of episodic TV shows.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what was on in the early 90s? Star Trek, which was very episodic. Well, Next Generation. And then something else big that I just completely forgot about. But, yeah, so closed, like a closed loop each episode.
Yeah.
Monster of the Week, like you said. But
and that's kind of how... I mean, that's kind of how kids shows were back then. Like if you look at like a show like now, like Adventure Time and stuff like that, like that's got a real continuing story. But like, the Rugrats and Dexter's Lab and stuff like that, it was all just one shot
Courage
deals.
The Cowardly Dog. Every episode is standalone, pretty much. I mean, there's a couple of episodes where, like the Return of the Chicken from Outer Space or whatever the hell.
Yeah,
you had to have seen the first Courage episode to have gotten that.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Then I mean, sometimes now is what happens in one episode can just be completely rewritten. Like, oh, hey, it didn't happen. Let's just move on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think of Joseph Kahn's just like the whole style of it in general?
I mean,
yeah. Go ahead, Chrissy.
Oh, sorry. I loved it. I love when you take something that was,
you put a twist on it.
Something that meant, a little bit innocent when you were a kid, and it's just like, oh, now it's dark.
A twist on it. Yeah, this was a few twists.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen a lot with fairy tales and shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, just recently in terms of that, we get a lot out of, like, Once Upon a Time, the TV show. We're getting a lot of twists on different things. Disney's Maleficent movie that just came out put a new spin on that character that...
God, I love that movie.
For all intents and purposes, they focus on her being a villain in Sleeping Beauty, but in Maleficent, they're showing how she's misunderstood, and she's actually not the villain, and, it's just putting a different spin on it. And... this was, I don't know. It's obviously not intended for kids.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's even...
But it's geared for the people that grew up with it, the people that were kids when it
for
came
us.
out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's meant for us, people our age.
Yeah.
Quite a while.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I get that, like the whole putting like that dark spin on like childhood classics, and I appreciate that, and it was well done. I liked it, but I just seeing them like with actual guns and not just like, oh, it's a space war, so they have like the guns or the weapons they used in the show. Right. It's like they were running around with P90s and well, like just deagles just everywhere. I was like, wait, this isn't.
Well, we're looking at a different side of this war. We're looking at we've lost. We lost. The aliens came. They gave us our tech.
In the very first scene was during.
Well, they were losing.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
like
the Megazord got cut down.
They were losing.
Yeah,
that was like that battle reminded me a lot of Firefly.
The whole
yeah. So that reminded me a lot of that battle. It's like you're on the brink, you're losing. That's it.
Exactly. Can I just say, when the Megazord got destroyed, that like legitimately scared me. I was like, whoa,
single tier, just
like that thing don't lose.
Yeah.
Also, give me
okay with this.
Give me a Transformers feel, that whole thing too, and that was my biggest skepticism at the beginning, because I'm watching this first scene. It's blacking out constantly. Like, okay, Power Rangers with guns. I like this. I can do it. I can dig it. And I'm like, and then the Megazord gets cut in half. I'm like, the fuck am I watching? A Michael Bay film? So it took all of a sudden, shock of Starbuck to bring me back out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, you see a lot of it today, like, and it's not just like fairy tales or spin on that. We see a lot of like the comic book movies and stuff. And we're more used to them getting darker now. Mm-hmm. Like look at I mean, the only exception to that rule, I think, is the Ninja Turtles, right? The Ninja Turtles started off as like this really dark comic, and it was like really, really dark. And then the movie came out. The first movie, anyway, was kind of like this. It was dark, but it was kind of campy at the same time. And then all the sequels after that were just jokes. And
hey, the second one was the best one.
It was, but there's a lot of comedy in the second one.
Nick, I got a point.
I think it's good.
Oh no, it is good. It is.
The second one is my first favorite movie, but I just got to point something out to you, Nick, that I noticed. You go watch the first one, and it's a good movie. Then you watch the second one, you realize not a single one of them uses their weapon in any offensive move at all for the whole movie. None of them draws their weapon ever.
I have a legitimate thing.
Go ahead.
When they put, they're putting the turtles. It's not a drawn comic. They're putting them in these suits. The suits kind of do look a little silly, and you have to put the humor in there so that you're not like, oh, these suits really suck. You're focused on the humor and the characters. So you kind of have to balance out the visuals with the, a little bit of...
Yeah, but still, the first one was very dark compared to the sequels.
Yeah,
it was still funny.
I don't like to think about
it was still funny. But
it was still funny,
darker.
Hey,
yeah, it was
listen,
New York
introduced
sucks,
a female
basically.
character. I needed that.
It was the show.
It was a young girl. No, they did
the
that in the movie.
What?
Wasn't there 4 Ninja Turtles movies, and they had the lady with the
there was a show.
No, that was
there were 3 live action movies,
Nick's
and then they just came out with a 4th. They came out with a 4th one that was a cartoon. I never saw the new cartoon one, and then just recently Michael Bay rebooted them into.
Chrissy, what you're thinking of, there was a live action TV show, Ninja Turtles, and yes, there was a lady turtle.
There we go.
Yeah,
there wasn't a movie.
Show? I could have sworn
that was a live action show.
Yeah, it didn't last long, like 1 season, if that.
Yeah, I think it got
one. That's probably why I thought it was a movie.
No, there were 3 movies. There was the first one, which was dark, and New York sucks, you're going to get your shit stolen. The second one was funny, and the third one was, hey, let's time travel to feudal Japan.
Yeah, I don't even know what they were thinking on that third one. But, so, I mean, it could still work. You could still have that light campy humor, because Secret of the Ooze was still a good movie. It really was. The third one, I don't know what they were doing, but...
I get that.
I just watched that movie 2
I
nights
prefer
ago.
the first one.
That's fine.
The first one was awesome.
Because it was so dark, and it kind of stayed as true to the comics as any Turtle movie or incarnation that we've seen thus far.
Mm-hmm.
But the Power Rangers, this is the complete opposite of the Turtles. It started out as this light, campy, cheesy kind of thing, and now we're getting this dark, gritty thing. And to be honest, and it's probably just because I'm older now, but I prefer this dark, gritty version.
Now I do too, because I watched the very first episode, this was probably about 6 months ago, of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And after watching it, I was like, how did I love this so much as a kid? What the fuck is wrong with me?
This is stupid.
This is utterly ridiculous.
Dude, and I saw Power Rangers on Ice with my grandma. Like, I was way down with the Power Rangers, man.
So was I.
Like...
And like I said, I just recently got through watching it, right? I went through the whole first season. And I remember as a kid, every time the Megazord was being formed and that whole sequence and everything, I was so excited. I was so pumped up for it. Now watching it, I'm like, this is the same footage over and over and over and over. And I was so sick of it.
Recycled footage.
Yeah, and that... It was okay when you were a kid, because things like Sailor Moon and all those, you know, magic animes craps that had transformations took that time every time they put their costume on, you know? You didn't care when you were a kid. You're like, this is so freaking cool. He was 3 and I was 6. We watched, I actually remember watching the very first episode of Power Rangers with my dad on our old couch.
Oh, God. That couch.
Yeah. I remember. I was 6.
And it's like, when you watch them as a kid, you see those transformations. It's like, yes, they're awesome. Then when you get older and you watch them, you're like, wait, why don't the villains just... Like,
you can attack
them during this time. Yeah,
but then you can also kind of like I heard a counter argument to that is like it all happens like almost instantaneously. So, but for Power Rangers, it's like the Zord actually is taking that long to form. Just like nuke 'em or something.
Just hit it.
There's like joke drawings done of stuff like that. We're like, why can't you just attack Sailor Moon while she's, you know, transforming? And it's just like, oh no, you have to stop. And it's just the villain like this, twiddling his thumbs, like.
Yeah. Did you guys happen to catch Joseph Kahn, the director, the producer of this short film? Actually, has made 2 other movies. He made Torque. It was a 2004 movie about motorcycle gangs and races and stuff like that.
That movie's a pile of shit.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that movie is terrible.
And then he did a horror comedy called Detention in 2011, and it actually just left Netflix. It was just on. So,
wow, this would have gotten so many views. This would have gotten so many views on Netflix.
It would have. If this was made to promote other stuff, yeah, obviously, you know, that would have been great.
I was sad to learn after watching it that, you know, this wasn't a, you know, preview or a teaser for a Netflix series or something coming out. So it was like, oh, there's a standalone fan film.
Well, let me point this out to you, Mike. Yes, Haim Saban actually, like, really dislikes this. It's pulled it off, but at the same time, this is getting more attention to Power Rangers than ever before. The video that's been put up on YouTube right now, the new one that was put up within a couple days, has 10 million views on it already. That's after it was taken down and put back up, so it's a new counter all over again. And the last time we saw something like this was 4 years ago. Kevin Tanchorin, I don't know how to pronounce his name, released Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah,
film.
Right.
And we saw this really dark, gritty Mortal Kombat just after watching these really cheesy kind of Mortal Kombat movies. Like, you guys saw the original 2 movies, right?
The first one I still love. The second one was
this one's okay.
Shit pile.
I don't really like them. I don't know. I was never really
was pretty good,
Mortal
but
Kombat
the second
fan.
one was just like, wait, what?
I was
the
never
second one was
With
terrible.
the friggin' action figures fighting on top of a playset for the dragons, that was...
Wait, was that real?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
It was awful.
Yeah.
God, King Kong had better graphics than that. And I mean the one from 33.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. But, I mean, Kevin's whole pitch on the film was he wanted to make a Mortal Kombat movie, right? And out of that, Warner Brothers is like, yeah, let's do this. And they gave him... he made Mortal Kombat Rebirth, a web series. You know, it was a web series. It went on for 2 seasons. The 3rd season's actually in production right now, I believe. and they're gonna make a third movie. And we don't know if they're gonna reboot it and be, you know, a brand new Mortal Kombat, but it's probably gonna be very much in that style.
Yeah.
I'd be alright with it.
I mean, I want to bring up something else, and I don't know when he started, but a dude on YouTube, dudes on YouTube do abridged series of Dragon Ball Z and Yu-Gi-Oh, and that's been going on for a long time, and the little Kariba who does the Yu-Gi-Oh one has had, like, battles with YouTube and 4Kids and all that stuff to try to keep his stuff up on YouTube. He's been banned. He's had to switch accounts.
He's gone through like 4 accounts in like the last 3 years.
So it happens on a lot of different fronts.
Yeah. Oh.
And then you have the other side of it, where I'm a very big fan of a couple of Lord of the Rings fan-made films.
Oh yeah.
Where it's kind of like, it's up and it's fine. Like, I don't think they've really had many battles to get their stuff up there.
So the companies and stuff that own these properties, they run into this issue, and it's a very fine line for them to walk, because on one hand, you have your fans that want to make these videos and pay homage to you know, their favorite movies or shows or something like that, and they want to do fan films and different things like that, and tributes and YouTube videos with songs on them, you know, and stuff like that. You see a lot of that in, like, Japanese anime. And on one hand, you don't want to start throwing copyright infringement on every single one of these things and start pissing your fan base off. Because when you do that, you're gonna piss them off. They're not gonna like enjoy the property anymore. They're not gonna like it, you know, anything like that. But then you run into this, where it's clearly something that is more or less defacing what Power Rangers was.
You think that this is a defacement? Really?
I don't. I'm saying the creator, Saban, is looking at it that way. Hayam Saban. Because he's looking at it as, this has ruined his franchise. His franchise is pure. It's for kids. And
honey, no.
If anything, this is going to be a rebirth.
Well, yeah. You see it in a lot of things.
Look, it's mommy.
That are meant for kids that end up adults liking a lot more. So I'm going to say Adventure Time just because that's been in my head all day. But so if you can get adults on board with the kids, that's better for you, because you're getting sometimes more than twice as many viewers out of it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I would love to see this made and fleshed out into a full movie.
I would like to see something like this. I don't think that... I think they did in 15 minutes what a whole movie, you know, might have done better, but still, they did it in 15 minutes is the point. And I think they did it really well. I don't think that this needs a movie. Maybe if you had something with the same tone, then that could be done. But I think that this was perfect the way it is.
Yeah.
Not-for-profit, crazy famous people, and, you know, just well done.
Yeah. I mean, I get why Saban wants to protect his property, especially now with a new Power Rangers movie coming out in 2016, I believe it's coming out.
Yeah, that I didn't know.
And that is actually, it's going to reboot the Mighty Morphin franchise, you know, not Dino Thunder or anything. This is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that he's rebooting. Jason David Frank has been in talks. He's expressed interest more than numerous times about how he wants to be involved with this project. And they're teamed up with Lionsgate. So Lionsgate is going to be producing this. And we've seen some pretty dark stuff come out of Lionsgate, like the Saw movies, for example. So I know during this whole film, Lionsgate basically said, we're going to back away from this. We're not going to get involved in this. Whatever happens, happens. So they have no comment. You know.
That's smart.
Yeah.
But do you think that this film is going to influence the reboot in any way, shape, or form?
I hope.
I mean, if Saban's not in favor of it, I can't see how it will.
No.
Especially if it's coming out next year, then they have to be in pre-production. It's got to be, you know, they have to have some form of a script already. So I don't think it's going to affect it that much. But what I think it will affect is butts in the seats.
Yeah.
That's what's going to affect.
Yeah. It got me excited, more so.
It's reminding us that Power Rangers is a thing. Hey, remember this thing? Yeah, it's cool.
And then it's still kind of an open story that could be played with. I mean, there's nothing that's ever been like this with like, because even something like Mortal Kombat, like the games are all bloody and gory and dark as shit. Like the funniest thing that happens is turn your opponent into a baby. But like, so there's that. But like, this was, this was like giving Barney a chainsaw. Like,
yeah,
really freaking cool too.
Also,
let's give
Yeah,
Barney
I was gonna say,
chainsaw.
what's next, Barney?
No, let's reboot Barney, but he's an actual Tyrannosaurus.
No, he's like Godzilla sized.
Yes, he's Barney the dinosaur in a preschool, but he's an actual Tyrannosaurus.
Yes.
I'm
Sounds
sold.
awful.
I'm already sold.
It's time to go out and play
Get
on the swings, kids, and they get outside and it's just like, "Arr!"
Oh my god. Let's see it.
Oh,
Let's get it
shit.
done, guys.
Do it.
Let's make it happen.
But surprisingly, the Joseph Kahn, he's actually put like his movies. Yeah, we have not heard anything out of his movies. On the other hand, he's been doing music videos since the early '90s, and he's worked with such artists as Public Enemy, Korn, Snoop Dogg, Rob Zombie, the Wu-Tang Clan, and Eminem. So that's all stuff you would expect from him. Like he did Korn's song Adidas, All Day I Dream About Sex. He filmed that video. And Eminem, he's done I Love the Way You Lie. He did Spacebound. He did,
That was a really good.
Yeah.
The Way You Lie, that was a really good
Yeah.
music video.
I mean, he's done real stuff like that. But then he's done stuff you wouldn't expect, like the Backstreet Boys. He did Backstreet's Back, right? He's done stuff by Sugar Ray. He did the Thong Song by Cisco.
Yeah.
All right. He's done stuff for Britney Spears, Willie Nelson, and then just recently in November, he released Taylor Swift's newest video, Blank Space.
I mean, when you need money. Well, I mean,
yeah. When you need the money.
he also did just do this, this fan film for nothing.
Right. This was all out of his
crazy
pocket.
famous actors to be in it.
Yep.
Ooh, money's gotta come from somewhere.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
you could have investors, but still,
That's true.
a lot of it probably came from his pocket
Probably.
to make it happen.
Hey, look, you get Taylor Swift money, you do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I went back and I went back and watched the Taylor Swift video. I'm not a big Taylor Swift fan by any means, right?
No?
I don't no.
Oh.
I don't care for the song Blank Space. It's okay, whatever. But I watched it to like follow the video, the story on it. And the story, the way it was filmed, is actually pretty brilliant. So he's definitely got talent. I can't deny that, And this has actually shown me like what a great director and producer this guy is. The short film was filmed over 7 days, and it was edited in 6 months, and that includes all the special effects, and all that stuff. So in that short of a time to put out this video, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
it takes me back to Saw. Saw was filmed over 14 days, I think. The entire movie, or no, 3 days. Was it? And it was edited over 14 days.
Wait, I'm sorry. The Power Rangers?
No, the movie Saw. I'm just
Oh.
saying the budget and everything. It seems like that. It was done really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of my favorite stuff is stuff that's kind of been rushed out there. Stuff that doesn't need to take a long time to put together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he probably had time with pre-production.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you take the time in pre-production, then then you have a good schedule going forward, So, however long this shoot for Power Rangers was probably really easy if he, planned well, which obviously he's good at because he's been doing this for, he's been making music videos for how many years? Fucking 20 years?
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna
I feel bad because I was overly that movie fucking sucked for Torque.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I personally haven't seen either of his other two movies. I heard that the second one, Detention, was a good movie, but a lot of people, like, as they were watching it, were like, what the hell is going on? But enjoyed it. So it's one of those, like, I mean, it's a horror comedy. What do you expect? You know, you don't really, I mean, just the description of horror comedy. I don't know what's going on just by that description, you know? So
what does it mean?
I'm interested. I'm going to check out that movie for sure. And I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to Joseph Kahn. So I think this has been like, hey, I exist kind of thing, you know, and people are going to, for free, this is like a big publicity video for him. He's not making money off of it, but people are going to be like, I want that guy to direct. I'm trying to make this really gritty film. I want Joseph Kahn. Get him down here.
But I mean, it's also, hey, look, Power Rangers is a thing. Remember that?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, kids, remember that?
It serves both purposes.
Yeah, and that's... what if this is actually a big publicity stunt between Joseph Kahn and Haim Saban?
I don't think so.
I mean,
I don't think so.
It's risky. It's too risky.
It's risky if it came out.
Well,
if it ever came out.
I think...
But if Haim Saban is going to be like, you make this, I'm going to fight you, we're going to go back and forth on this thing, and it's going to generate a lot of publicity for the Power Rangers, it's
We're
kind
gonna
of...
make a movie.
Yeah, because the movie is coming out next year. And all of a sudden now, no, like, you guys didn't know anything of it, right? Nick, you said you didn't know anything about it. Cleo, right? You guys didn't know there's a Power Ranger movie coming out. John?
I knew because of our friend, Rob. He has been following it, so.
Mike, did you have any clue?
Same reason. Rob clued me into it a while ago.
Okay.
I didn't know.
But if it wasn't for Rob, you guys would have known, right?
No, not at all.
Probably not. He mentioned it, and I may have seen something online about it, but I haven't been following it, so other than that, no, I would have had no clue.
I mean, I follow Jason David Frank on Facebook, and he's very active about stuff, so I knew there was a movie coming out. You know, I knew that, so that's the only way. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known. But this is generating so much publicity for the Power Rangers. It's ridiculous. It's more than any TV spot would have given them.
Oh, yeah.
It could be the biggest viral marketing campaign ever. If, I'm not saying they did this, but if they planned this out, it's insane. It would be genius.
It doesn't seem likely because of the fact that Saban is so... Like, they had it taken down, you know, that's a lot of steps for, like, a publicity stunt.
It is. It is. It's not out of the question, though.
No, very true.
No.
Crazier things have happened.
It's true.
They have. I personally, my personal feelings, I do not believe that it is a publicity stunt.
No.
But if it was, it would be the best one ever.
Fucking rad.
Rad.
So,
I would love to see more of it, but I just know it's not going to be real. So,
what are
maybe in
your
a few
guys'
years.
feelings on it being so loosely tied or so closely tied to a children's franchise? Like, because if, let's say this movie was just a teaser and they're coming out and they're gonna film this movie, right? And it's a full feature film and it's just as dark and gritty with the blood and the drugs and the swearing, the language. It's exactly like that, but it's a 2-hour movie. How do you market this? That doesn't get kids involved.
The goat dust. Not for teens.
Because you slap the name Power Rangers on something, and it doesn't matter. The kids are going to want to see it.
They're going to have to change the name.
Right.
Well, they would have to.
Well, I mean,
or phrase, like, this, it's, like I had mentioned before, like, I remember Power Rangers through, like, a certain lens of nostalgia. You can't put that name on something like that and have it go properly.
I don't see why not.
You can't have kids see that.
Here's the issue, though.
It's a rated R.
But here's the issue with that. Is it's still a franchise now. The Power Rangers are still airing on children's networks under the name Power Rangers right now.
Yeah.
So that is the issue. If this was a children's franchise that existed in the 90s and then was taken off the air, and it died, and it's been absent for all this time, 100% you can do that. You can get away because you're playing off the nostalgia of the people who were kids to the people who are now adults. But that's not the case. We still have on Nickelodeon. Well, I think it just stopped airing on Nickelodeon. But Nickelodeon had owned Power Rangers up until like 2 years ago, and they were airing it. They actually rebooted the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Those episodes were airing on Nickelodeon, and they spiced them up a little bit. They changed the way they would morph. They did a lot of like special effects changes and stuff in that showing. So it's still very much tied to children.
Right.
You want to know, and this just popped into my head. You want to know the episode of Power Rangers I remember the most?
Mm-hmm.
It was an episode where they were teaching the kids in school not to plug everything into the same outlet. And then the shit in the classroom caught on fire. I don't know why I remember that the clearest out of anything else in Power Rangers.
Now, do you want to know the thing I remember the most? And this is probably pretty funny, considering what we're talking about, is that there was this part of the season where the original Red Ranger, he ended up being like that gold Black Ranger guy. He had that cool staff with like that. When he got, I just remember this one scene where like Tommy grabbed him and was like running through this battlefield with him on his shoulder and shit like that. I don't know why, like that, because it was kind of dark. Like that scene was kind of dark for a kid's show. Like,
I remember
that scene stuck with me.
The scene that stuck with me is very similar. Is when they first were getting Ultrazord, and they're fighting up this like mountain, and Ultrazord's like hucking fireballs at them, and they were working on teamwork or something because they had issues because they were both like the leader at that point, and then it was a power struggle of who was the leader, and they were really focusing on teamwork. And Tommy was like, "Here, take my shield," and he put his hand on the Red Ranger's hand over his shield, and the Red Ranger all of a sudden got the shield. And that was like one of the first times we ever saw the shield leave the Green Ranger. And I was just like, oh my god, that's amazing. And then they like split off and like did some cool, like Tommy was like playing with, Jason got his sword, I think. Jason gave Tommy the sword, and he had the sword and the dragon dagger, and he was like distracting him, and Jason was running off with the shield like toward it to try to like tame him or something. I don't remember the exact details, but it was something along those lines. But that was pretty dark too. Like you just have this like creature inside like this volcano hucking fireballs at you. So
yeah.
But we have Nikki in chat saying as far as theaters go, strict viewing rules, ID and or parents present, like I remember, and then on video have parents use their brains. Yeah, but that's not going to stop the kids from wanting to see it.
Exactly.
No,
yeah, that's the problem.
You know, a kid could just be like, "I'm going to take your phone, mama."
And yeah, exactly. And in this day and age, like you can pirate movies weeks before it comes out, and kids nowadays are smart enough.
I mean, and
ingrained in technology to the point where it's not going to be hard for them to get it.
But I still think that's bullshit because we were 10 and we were watching Austin Powers.
I didn't see that till I was in like end of junior high school.
No, we were young when.
I mean, you could say it all falls on the parents.
For our age.
Well, yeah.
You could say it all falls on the parents, but here's the thing, right? Let's say you know someone who's like, yeah, my kid could watch anything. I don't care. You know, they let them watch it. And then you don't know that that's how the parents raised that kid. And then that kid has a bunch of friends over from school. And it's like, oh, I got the new Power Rangers movie. Let's watch it. And now your son or daughter watched it, and you didn't want them to watch it.
We're not scarred. We're fine.
And, you know, this is the thing. Like, if I just type Power Rangers into YouTube, and that's the first video, is this movie. And, like, so, like, a little kid might just be like, oh, Power Rangers, I want to see, you know, just might click on this, you know. It's... I see that angle where it's like you can't monitor your kids 100% of the time. So, yeah, we all watched some pretty fucked up shit when we grew up. Like South Park came out when we were in the 4th grade. Like, no, should we have been watching that? No.
I used to watch Beavis and Butthead. I shouldn't have been watching Beavis and Butthead when I was little.
But
I mean, it's like,
yeah, we turned out okay, but was it the right thing? Really, no. No, it wasn't.
Yeah. I guess it's all just perspective.
But I mean, this is a 15-minute. I guess if it came out as a full film, maybe then that's a completely different story. But
Yeah, and the problem with this also is well, yeah, now the YouTube one, you have to click in. It's like mature viewers, like you have to click a button before you could even see it and stuff like that. But it was on different things like Vimeo and stuff where there's no age restriction on anything, and it's so accessible to children right now. It's kind of ridiculous. I understand why like Jason David Frank didn't want any association with it.
Yeah, no, of course, that makes sense.
You know, like how you know, Walter Jones did not want it posted on his social media. Amy Jo Johnson linked the video. She's like, I really liked it. She's got just as many fans as like, you know, any of them. Not maybe you know, Jason David Frank probably has the most out of all of them, but I think the other ones are pretty close. But we have Sigfrish in chat saying VR Troopers was way better than the Power Rangers, which I personally disagree with, but
that was fighting words.
But I did enjoy the Power. I mean VR Troopers. And then he says, "What about Ren and Stimpy?"
Beetleborgs.
What about Ren and Stimpy?
Yeah, we watched that.
Ren and Stimpy.
Are you kidding me?
I don't remember watching it.
Yes, we watched it, and Mom looked on like. The three of us, me and my brother and my dad, would sit and watch it. And my mom would be in the corner like.
I don't remember watching Ren and Stimpy.
But like, it wasn't. Alright,
you might have. I don't think I did.
It was the funniest thing in the world.
It was, but like, was it that different than like Rocko's Modern Life and like
SpongeBob?
those other like SpongeBob was all fucked up when it first started too. Like
Ren and Stimpy was a special kind of fucked up though.
Well,
Yeah, it was.
but
Like,
you
you
also
had
have to remember
faces melting and like there was just all kinds of horrible things about Ren and Stimpy.
They rebooted it.
Yeah. Yeah. But like shows like Rocko's Modern Life, like I specifically remember they had games like Spank the Monkey, and like it looked like
sex phone worker?
Huh?
Wasn't his job a sex phone worker?
Yeah.
Yep.
He was a sex phone operator or something at some point. Like there was little things, but you didn't realize it when you were a kid. It flew over your head. It's kind of like SpongeBob, you know. They live in Bikini Bottom, and the squirrel's name is Sandy Cheeks, and you know the Krusty Krab in Bikini Bottom, and it's just like some of this stuff. It's like as an adult you watch it, and you know you're laughing, you know, but it flies right over the.
You just didn't know why.
Yeah, it flies over the kid's head, and Zen the Tech. Sorry if I butchered that name. It says his mom and dad loved watching Ren and Stimpy with him and his brother, and so much adult humor is missed as a kid. And yeah, you can get away with that. Those cartoons, you got away with it. This version of Power Rangers, you can't get away from that. It's
no, that's true because it's not.
You just watch the Black Ranger shoot a guy point blank range in the head. Yeah. Blood splatters all over the place.
Yeah.
This also was not made for kids, so there's that difference.
Right.
There's overt and then there's subtext.
Mm-hmm.
There's no attempt to mask the violence and the maturity.
Yeah.
Which on a side note, I think like the costumes that they had that almost looked like they were made out of like some kind of concrete material or something like that were really cool. The fact that actual real life bullets were bouncing off of them, I loved it.
I felt weird, like the Zack scene, the Black Rangers fight scene was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and he fought Ninja Bro! I totally forgot he fought Ninja Bro from Wolverine.
Oh, that was him.
He fought Ninja Bro. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. Go on.
Oh my god.
It's I felt bad because it was an awesomely choreographed scene. The scene was fantastic. The suit and seeing him in it with such broad shoulders, I was like,
I mean, even him next to the other Rangers was so much bigger.
Because he himself is bigger, and they
true.
put them in the suit.
That's true.
Suits.
Yeah.
But I mean, these were more like Batman armor suits.
Which I was honestly okay with it. Suits were really cool.
Mm-hmm.
They were. I mean, that was my first gripe watching it. I was like, that's not their helmet, and you know, so that was an initial turn off. But then,
I mean, it's also 15, 20 years in the future.
Right. And they're probably like more suited for war.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of times gone by, stuff like that. I was able to let it go by the end of the video, and that ending, having Rita show up, I was just like, oh, that is so good.
Yeah.
And I loved Rita in
the show
back in the day because she was fucking hilarious. She would just go on and then,
Fucking-
ha!
They were all of those villains were just,
Rangers, ah!
like out of their minds and had zero idea what they were doing. It's amazing how they got as far as they did, to be
She's
completely
just
honest.
awesome. And I loved seeing her just shoot a dude. Like, no problem, just murder a dude.
Shoot Rocky in the back of the head. Just
I love it.
Nothing.
Poor
So
Rocky.
fucked up.
It was fucking. It was brutal.
That's very brutal.
But how do you think they can get away with doing this? Like, because you can't name it Power Rangers. What else could you possibly name it?
Wasn't
Well,
it?
I'm saying Powered / Rangers.
Yeah, wasn't it
It's not
/ the forward slash between the?
Yeah, but
Was that
that's
added
still. It's
after
still.
they... or
I'm
is
not
that-
talking about for
That was
copyright reasons or anything like that. I mean to get the branding away from children.
You really
Uh,
can't. I mean,
You.
I mean,
You can't
Zordon's
use-
not even in the movie, because if the movie revolved around Zordon or Alpha, you could literally just name the movie Zordon. And that has enough ties to it that people would be
Yeah,
like, oh,
that's-
Zordon! You know, something like that. But I was thinking maybe Mighty Morphin, just call it that. But I think, you know,
No,
even
you'd
that's
have
just
to-
kind of a strange, obscure title.
You'd
Yeah.
have to use something completely unique to get away from kids.
Or maybe
I don't know what, though.
Unique, but something that revolves around
Glenn
the
Fisher goes
seriousness
camping.
of war.
I mean, you could also just call it Rangers.
Yes, you could.
You could just call it
is
Rangers.
it a hockey team or this? Yeah.
It's a hockey team. It's a
Forest Rangers.
it's the Army Rangers. You don't know what it is until you watch it.
Yeah.
What they were, which actually is an interesting point that I just thought of.
Sentai Rangers.
They
You
were-
just say the Sentai.
That's true. They were fighting the mechanical army. Those are the villains from Zeo.
Yes.
Yeah.
The King and Prince
Yeah.
Robot, and like that whole set of villains were from a completely different season with almost completely different characters.
Yeah.
Although I guess like with Rita showing up at the end, kind of
Tied it all back.
yeah.
Did we
But
ever find
that-
out the fate of Rita? Like, what happened to her?
They
What?
didn't they get like locked away and shot into space?
Yeah. Her and Zed were like,
Yeah, no, I remember. I
Yeah,
remember
wasn't that it?
The robots kind of just.
So if she was locked up in the dumpster and thrown away again, then, like, that's...
I think her and Zed got caught in that, and they got launched into space, and then
Yeah, I mean, that still leaves it open that 20 years later they could come out and, you know, do whatever.
Sure.
You
Good
know,
point.
so that's so. I think Alpha and Zordon were actually defeated somewhere along the lines. Did we ever find that out?
he was.
no.
Was
They
it-
never really
that
bring
was in
them
the
up in
movie.
the video.
No, they don't. Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't in this video, but I mean, in terms of the actual Mighty Morphin Power Rangers franchise.
Well, I remember. Wasn't the first movie? Didn't the plot revolve around Zordon dying?
Oh
Like,
my
he didn't
god.
No,
die.
they
right.
bring him back. They bring him
They
back.
did
They
bring
brought
it
him
back,
back, but like
yeah.
he was He was.
He gets injured, but they
Dying.
save him in the end because
Yeah, and he was
mean,
actually like a human
'Cause
body
I know
thing.
Zordon is not around now in the
Yeah.
current, because I've actually watched a few episodes of the current Power Rangers, the Power Rangers Pirates or whatever they are. I don't.
Sorry, pirates.
They're pirates. It was pirates in Japan. It translated to pirates anyway.
Oh, one of the newer seasons.
And I think it's like Super Mega Force or something now.
Oh, okay.
And it's like they
Shit.
legit have the powers to turn into any of the old Rangers whatsoever.
Yes. I remember that. I
And
remember
the
that.
only reason why I started watching it is because they said that Jason David Frank was going to be on an episode, and I watched like 2 or 3 episodes in a row, and he was nowhere to be found. And I was like, they didn't even turn into the Dino Rangers that I knew. I mean,
Yeah.
you could call it Dino Rangers. Like,
Guess what?
No, there's an actual season about like dinosaur themed Rangers, and Jason David Frank is in it.
mhm.
Really?
Yeah. I just
He's
found.
he's like the mentor type. He's the Black
Yeah,
Ranger.
yeah.
I just
That
found.
was a good. I thought that was a really good,
Yeah.
a good season.
Yeah.
There was also another season. I forget if it was. Oh god, was it Ninjas? It was another season around that
Ninjas.
era where
Many ninjas.
way too many names.
Johnny Young Bosch came back as
Ooh.
Adam,
Oh.
and it was actually like in the Black Ranger suit and actually
I think I
fought
remember
with that.
that.
Yeah, it was like a couple episodes, and I don't remember. I fucking hate. I can't remember what season it was.
Hmm.
I think it was.
Mike, what were you saying? You found something?
Yeah, I found what happened to Rita because we were asking what was her ultimate fate. Apparently, in Power Rangers Mystic Force, the Mystic Mother, the Empress of Good Magic, who gives the Power Rangers their link to whatever the morphing grid or whatever the hell, is Rita. She becomes a good guy.
Oh my god. You're serious? That's her?
That's what I'm reading right now.
Huh.
She becomes a third.
Shit.
Yeah. And a ranger.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
She's
Does it
in
say
that
anything
scene-
about the
in that
fate of
series,
Zordon?
she's Kind of like
The
that.
fate of who? Zordon?
Yeah.
Now, look. Now, let me get through this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Keep going. I'll find it.
I know that.
Yeah. I don't know. You guys have anything else you want to throw out there for this? Any concerns or anything?
I think I'm about done.
I mean, I feel like, yes, children probably shouldn't see this, but
If they do.
in my youth, probably stumbled on similarly bad things like this, thinking it was something
It wasn't.
kid-friendly, you know? But I'm just gonna say this, yes, it's bad, whatever, but it's not the worst thing in the world.
There's worse.
It's not gonna make a kid want to shoot someone in the head.
I don't know. What about all those kids that imitate WWF wrestlers and throw them into staircases and break their necks?
You can say similar things about kids who imitate GTA characters.
Look,
There are
it's,
few and
at this
far
point,
between,
it's just
but there
fucking
was.
Darwinism. Your kid's
Yeah.
too stupid to live, then, well,
Oh, wow.
Ow.
just,
Tell us how you really
listen, the kid who eats the most marbles doesn't get to live and have kids of his own.
Very true.
He's playing real life
Apparently
Hungry
Zordon's
Hungry
dead.
Hippos. Yes, Mike.
Zordon, yeah. You wanted to know his ultimate fate?
Yep.
Mhm.
He died. Power Rangers in space. He sacrifices himself to. Where was it? I just read it. To allow his good energy to destroy the forces of evil. Basically, his death creates an energy wave, which turns Zed, Rita, Divatox, and a whole other bunch of people into regular, ordinary old humans.
Eat my face.
Okay, so
Like-
that would explain why we had no Zordon.
Aye, aye,
Eat
And-
my face.
Yeah. So
Alpha, he
Alpha
retired. He
Alpha
retired to
probably,
Florida
like,
with the rest of his
short
Jewish
circuited.
family.
aye, aye, aye.
aye, aye, Rangers! Ah!
So you guys have any closing thoughts?
I really like retellings of things that make them grittier.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's fun.
For all the Power Rangers fans from the 90s, if you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah,
and if
seriously.
you're a Lord of the Rings fan and liked, something like a fan-made film like this, go find, it's on YouTube, The Hunt for Gollum and Born of Hope.
They
They're
were
actually
good.
making a new one. I don't think it's the same guys, but they're very, very good.
Mhm.
And they deal with, like, Aragorn and events before.
I'm a big supporter of fan films. I love them, and they right now, especially this, it's really showing that there is some borderline between copyright infringement, and fan film. There's this awkward balance, and technically, Hayam Saban does own all the rights to Power Rangers, and he can say what can and can't be done with it. Oh, I forgot to mention, what was that other? There was the just recently before this Power Rangers came out, Ryan Niga had released. Was it Ryan Niga? I don't even remember. No, it wasn't Ryan Niga. It was I don't know. I forget their name on YouTube. They released the Cookie Monster Power Rangers. Did you guys see that?
No.
Oh my god, that shit!
Yeah.
I missed that.
Oh my god!
I
I don't remember their names, but oh my god.
I don't know.
What
what
are they
that is.
Australian? Or
Yeah, they're Australian. I'm gonna try to find them real quick.
They basically put on Power Rangers costumes and fought the Cookie Monster, and the Cookie
Oh,
Monster
that shit. Yeah,
destroyed them.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was amazing.
It
Yeah.
was really good.
Like,
It was funny.
But something like that, it's so ridiculous that calling copyright infringement is just silly.
It's pointless.
Hayam Saban actually took that off the internet. It's Raka Raka. That's who it is on
Raka
YouTube.
Raka.
Raka Raka.
Really? That's
They-
silly then.
Well, this
I
one.
can
Oh, I
understand
remember
right.
now. Oh shit! Now I remember seeing that. Holy crap!
Yeah,
was
they
so
they
good.
used actual like graphics. They were in the Halloween costumes with the like muscle building suits.
Yeah,
and
there was
like
no actual.
yeah, what it was a guy and a girl sitting on a picnic blanket
Yeah.
or whatever, and they were eating Subway cookies, and the Cookie Monster runs out to like steal the cookies, and the kids come out and they morph into the Power Rangers. The Red Ranger
They get the
gets
shit kicked out of them.
decapitated.
Oh my
You know,
god.
It's
and
like brutal. It's great.
it
It's
was
so
so
funny.
gritty. The Green Ranger, like I forget the
One of them gets ripped in half. The other gets decapitated.
the Green Ranger goes, "I'm out of here," and he puts his hand on his belt to do the thing where he like teleports up, and the Cookie Monster grabs him while he's teleporting and does like a backbreaker on him.
Oh my
And
god.
I was just like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And like there was
it's-
blood everywhere. The Cookie Monster was red by the end of it. He was just covered in
yeah.
blood.
Watching this, I'm like, how did they get away with filming at a jungle gym, a children's playground?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
so, I mean, this isn't the first dark, gritty Power Rangers, but that one was taken off the internet completely. Like, it was gone. The Raka Raka still do not have it on their YouTube channel. Like, you can't
Yeah.
find it on there.
They
You
probably
can-
won't be able to upload it.
No, you could. I think some other people have uploaded it onto YouTube, and like, it's around the internet. You could find it. Just look up Google Power Rangers Cookie Monster.
Found it.
Yeah, you'll find
Yeah,
it.
it's there. It's funny. It's,
It's-
hilarious.
You know,
yeah, it's
and
on
I-
this. Someone re-uploaded it on YouTube.
Yeah.
this reminded me Machinima just started this like series about Dragon Ball Z, like a live action DBZ
Mhm.
about like the future Trunks saga thing.
Oh,
like
Didn't,
Oh,
it's pretty cool. It's pretty good.
didn't
And-
College Humor? Didn't College Humor also do a Street Fighter the later years?
Yeah,
Was that them? You know,
So, like-
that's another fanfic. You know, and
Yeah.
it's great. I love seeing it. Street Fighter the later years. They're old, decrepit people. Like they're retired. They can't even fight, and they're like brought back to like have another battle, another go around. So. Zenithek is saying that Raka Raka it's still on their channel, so maybe they did get to re-upload it. Last I
Maybe they
checked,
did.
it was not on their channel, but yeah. So I know that the Power Rangers have been battling. Hayam Saban has been battling copyright on all these things for a while now. So he's clearly not winning because they're still showing up on YouTube. But I think he should embrace them. I know it's not his vision of how they are, but they're giving him more popularity and more notoriety to his franchise that even though it's against his moral judgment, he needs
I mean,
to.
if we're gonna be serious, his fucking show is based off ripping off a
I wouldn't.
Japanese thing. So
Well,
Yeah.
isn't Saban? Isn't Saban a Japanese company?
I don't think so.
No.
He's a guy.
No.
He's white?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck him. Because I was gonna say if
No.
he's like a Japanese guy coming from like that culture.
You rip things off all the time in
No.
Japan.
Actually, what I was gonna say is, oh boy, that's an interesting face. Oh yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, there he is.
So funny.
All his glory.
Oh, was he the same guy that was real racist about something about his daughter?
Probably.
I don't know.
Probably.
Hayam Saban is actually Israeli.
Yeah, it's even
He's
worse.
Israeli.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
he's Hebrew.
Damn.
Don't get mad at me. I'm kidding.
Uh-oh.
What did you just do?
Down
I can't even
internet.
get
It's
rid. I
okay.
can't even get away with that. I'm not Jewish.
Nope.
So
So
he's making a shit fit over something that he basically cut and pasted from Japan.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah, well,
And I mean,
Sir?
Japan and a lot of other Asian countries are a little loose with their copyright laws, so it's not as big of a deal in Japan.
right.
I mean, you see with if you remember that stupid game show MXC, they basically
Takeshi's
just
Castle.
Yeah, it's
Takeshi's
Takeshi's
Castle.
Castle.
Japanese like serious game show, and then we took it and like shit
And
all
it's
over it.
stupid.
Oh, wording. I would not say we should.
No, I'm sorry. MXC is amazing.
Made it 10 times better.
MXC is
made
amazing,
great.
but they made it
Greatest.
into a ridiculous thing.
They
that
did
it
it,
wasn't.
but it was fantastic and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I feel like they thousands of shows try to do the same thing. Like, fucking, I can't even think about. what shows recently are kind of like
Cut and
that?
paste of Japanese.
Not cut and paste, but kind of like MXC, where it's like those extreme challenges. Not like
Oh, they've had like
Ninja
like
Warrior.
not like
Ninja
Ninja
Warrior.
Warrior, but like the not
Oh,
so
Wipeout.
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 That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's-
It's
That
just
is
not the
MXC,
same.
right? It's MXC.
But it's just
Right.
not the same.
Right.
You don't get the same comedy from it.
The kiddo loves Wipeout, and
Yeah. I'd like Wipeout, but not in the same way that I liked MXC.
No,
Yeah,
I
like watching-
It's like a different level.
Yeah.
And the reason to watch something like Wipeout is literally just to watch them wipe out. You don't care, you know. It's
Yeah.
not for the comedy value or anything like that. You know, it's the same way. The only reason, and I know this is bad to say, but the only reason I watch NASCAR is for the races. I mean, for the accidents.
Crashes?
Yeah,
I
crashes.
mean,
Like I'm
a
guys
lot
going
of
around and taking left-hand turns. That's not very exciting to me. But when there's a 10-car pileup and thing, you know, and it's exciting, but you know, it's also very dangerous. You know,
they're making another left turn.
yeah.
Making another left turn. I
So
wonder what's gonna happen next.
I think that's just the way like our generation has gotten. We're so desensitized to just like everything that I don't know, like a film like this with the Power Rangers. I wasn't like cringing. Oh my God, there's so much blood. I was like, this is cool. Where you know,
And I mean, I don't think that.
if I showed this to like my grandmother, she'd be like, oh, blood. Like you know, I don't know.
I don't particularly like the word desensitized because while we are maybe to violence, I think it's stuff like this still makes an impact.
It does. It does.
Oh, it did for me.
I mean,
was still like,
I think
whoa.
the fact though that it made an impact is just because it's the complete opposite of what it was.
Yeah. But it built on our nostalgia because we knew how silly it was when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
And for
Yep.
it to be serious, and like I said in the beginning, I was like, I never had to explain what Power Rangers was, but hearing it in a sentence like teenagers fighting an intergalactic war, it's like, if you were actually doing that, there would be guns and death and booms and...
Yeah. Yep. I'm just gonna go around real quick. I guess we'll end this. I'll go around as I do the outros for everybody. But Mike, do you
Me.
believe this should be filmed?
this specifically, some version of this, yes. And you know, I mean, I love the fact that this was done with such a relatively high-profile cast. Do something similar like that. Yes, do, must, want.
All right,
I want it
where,
so much I can't speak properly.
Where can people
Angela,
find you, Mike?
Or on Twitter @Thilladrin, right there.
John, what do you think? Should this be turned into a full feature film?
I would love it. I don't think it will happen, but I really, really, really want it to.
Yeah, I should have
Yes.
added that. Not a chance in hell it's gonna happen.
But oh my God, I would die.
And where can people find you?
You can find me that on Twitter, no more, and doing Let's Plays on YouTube at NHOJM.
Cleo, what is your opinion? Should it be made?
I think this 14-minute film was perfect. And it told everything it needed to tell. If you put this into a 2-hour movie, it would be drawn out. I think it's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where can people find you?
You can find me at Cleomoto on the socials and on Twitch at The Cleomoto. And I'm selling stuff on my Etsy, so go there. It's shiny and new.
Excellent. Nick, what do you think? You seem the most torn out of all of us.
He really is.
It's because I appreciate it for what it is, and like Cleo said, it's perfect at the 14-15 minute length. I don't know how I feel having because like I said, nostalgia glasses. I'm just still on the fence. I honestly can't really say. It's probably not gonna happen. If it does, I'm gonna see it. It's not gonna stop me from seeing it. But yeah, just fences.
Plus, all the Rangers are dead, so I mean...
No. Oh, in the
Tommy's the only one left. If he even lives after
In this
they
short film.
Everyone else is
Yeah.
dead.
before the war itself, and then leading
Yeah,
up to
that's
that.
true. I guess that would be nice to see.
They could do a prequel to the short film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was self-contained. It did a nice job.
Yeah. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM, and I 100% want more of this. I want so much more of this. I want a trilogy. Not just one movie. I want a full trilogy. You know? And if not a trilogy, I want HBO to pick this up and make a TV series out of it. All right?
Yes.
And I missed my opportunity, but phenomenon.
Every time.
Thought I was going to get away with it.
Nah. You just talk your way out of it.
Yeah. For more podcasts or some of your favorite TV shows, you can check us out on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. This series right here, After Dark, is going to be whenever we have a topic to talk about, we will talk about it. There's no deadline, so just stay tuned. When we have a topic, you guys can find on our YouTube channel. We'll have an event for it. Just look for it. We'll try to do these maybe at least once per month, but there's no guarantees. So, until next time, see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
I kind of like Phenom Dom.
Bye.
Phenom Dom?
Phenom Dom.
Phenom Dom.
Nom nom.
Phenom
Can I
dom.
just be like a Pokemon and just go
Yes,
Dom Dom?
Phenom Dom.
Dom Dom.
Dom dom.
It's perfect.
Dom Dom.
Nom Dom.
You call it a Phenom Dom.
Dom Dom.
Would you like to name it? Nom Dom.
No, it's the first evolution is Nom Dom, then it's Phenom, and then it's Phenom Dom.
Guys.
Can I just like eat a lot and be nom 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 dom dom?
Yes.
Nom 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 nom.
Absolutely.
Nom 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 nom.
Absolutely.